Thank you. Calling this meeting to order. It is now May 12th at 6:04 p.m. Roll call, Ms. Cluck.
Mr. Schneider?
Here.
Mrs. Madiker?
Here.
Mr. Shi? Mrs. Peng?
Here.
Mrs. White?
Here.
Mr. Mohan Patel?
Here.
Mr. Burrell Patel?
Here.
Mr. Rivera?
Here.
Dr. Haydock?
Here.
8 present.
Thank you. Opening statement. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Edison Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Board of Education administrative offices. Copies of these notices were sent to the Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger on January 4th and April 25th, 2022. The public may participate at regular meetings in accordance with the bylaws and the applicable state regulations. Good evening, everyone. Wonderful to see such positivity in this room. It's really a beautiful night, and without further ado, I think the board will take a seat in the audience, and we're going to turn around and watch a terrific video that was produced for tonight.
It is my honor to announce Mrs. Jennifer Hijek as Ben Franklin Elementary School Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Hijek has boundless energy and imagination which she brings to the students on a daily basis. She is dedicated to a fault and always has the students' interest at heart. She is always willing to share her ideas with her colleagues and is able to inspire all those around her, no matter what their background. She is one of the quiet but fierce defenders of education in our building. She works tirelessly each day to bring a balance of educational excellence as well as humor and grace into her classroom. It is clear she is energetic and vibrant and is well deserving of this award. Mrs. Hijek is a highly effective educator who stands proudly and boldly as she is an advocate of the whole child and truly believes that all children can learn. Mrs. Hijek is worthy of this prestigious honor. She stands out and makes our school stronger and better through her work. Our students reap the benefits of her tireless commitment. For these reasons and many others, it is my honor to announce Jennifer Hijek as Benjamin Franklin's Elementary School Teacher of the Year, as she is simply the best.
Growing up, I moved when I was about 8 years old to a new house, and next door was the owner of a nursery school, and behind her and running behind my house was a nursery school. And I used to go after school and kind of quote unquote help out until I was old enough to become a camp counselor, and just always just kind of lent itself to my love of kids and dealing with little kids. I thought I was going to be a nursery school teacher because it was a preschool and kindergarten. So I started off in kindergarten, graduated to first grade, and I've been here ever since. And I feel like this is where I was meant to be.
On behalf of myself, Mr. Pupil, and the Ben Franklin Elementary School, I would like to thank Mrs. Lisa Wales for her 10 years of dedication to our K-2 self-contained classrooms. Congratulations is being named the Educational Service Professional of the Year for Ben Franklin this year. Congratulations.
My name is Donna Bettamarco, and as the proud principal of James Madison Intermediate School, I am thrilled to recognize Mrs. Amanda Bowler as our Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Bowler's energy and enthusiasm for learning creates a positive and nurturing classroom environment. She encourages students to take ownership of their learning and supports them along their journey. Mrs. Bowler eagerly collaborates with colleagues, participates in just about every school committee, and always volunteers for family events, which is what makes her such a tremendous asset to our school community. Congratulations, Mrs. Bowler, on being named James Madison Intermediate School Teacher of the Year.
One of my most important things that happen as a teacher is having my students come back to see me and tell me what they remember, or something that we did in class that stuck with them. Tell me how they were inspired and what they're doing now. because I feel like the biggest part of teaching is really those relationships that you make. So that's probably one of my favorite parts, is seeing some of my old students.
My name is Brian Murphy, and I am the assistant principal at James Madison Intermediate School. I would like to congratulate Mrs. Elise Negron as being the Educational Support Professional of the Year for JMI. Ms. Elise Negron is an integral part of the school staff and community. She is supportive of the students, empathetic to their needs, and present during the day and evening events. Mrs. Negron, thank you for putting students first, and thank you for all your hard work. Congratulations on being the Educational Support Professional of the Year for JMI.
It is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Miguel Valen, J&P's Teacher of the Year. He is one of the most positive, creative, energetic, and forward-thinking teachers. He brings every lesson to life with a lot of comedy and hands-on activities. All of his students are always engaged in his Spanish class. Even I come out of his lessons laughing and learning more about the Spanish language. Outside of the classroom, he serves as our soccer club coordinator. He works on our Art and Fusion Committee, where he's taking J&P to the next level with his comedic abilities. And he also works with our special education population to help support both the teachers and the students. It is my absolute pleasure again to congratulate Miguel Valen as J&P's Teacher of the Year.
I didn't know I wanted to be a teacher until I wrote an essay in high school. And basically it was, who are you? The question was, who are you? And there was another one, and it was, and where are you going? And I remember writing, and I'm like mid-essay, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, oh my God, I'm in the education business, right? But again, through that essay, Ms. Mitchell in Edison High School, she was the one that made me write the essay. And like I said, mid-essay, wow, like I'm gonna be a teacher, you know, and that's how basically it all began.
I would like to congratulate Mrs. Jessica Sanchez as the Educational Support Professional of the Year for James Madison Primary School. Ms. Sanchez is communicative with her parents, collaborative with her peers, and creative in her instruction, which is a great recipe for what the students need. Thank you, Ms. Sanchez, for all you do and the work you provide for the students that are English language learners.
Opening the door to education to students through the belief that students learn where they feel important, cared for, and challenged appropriately is Mrs. Lynn's guiding philosophy. It is no surprise that with this belief, she is our Teacher of the Year. Over 24 years of teaching, Mrs. Lynn's first grade classroom continues to epitomize positivity, joy, and inclusivity for our youngest learners here at James Monroe. Her calm and warm demeanor makes sure that every child feels important and nurtured. Her training in social emotional approaches, such as Rainbow's Responsive Classroom and the NORA Project, have impacted her approach to teaching and learning. Mrs. Lynn models and creates opportunities for collaborative practice, which cultivates a safe and supportive community. We are honored to have her here at James Monroe. Congratulations, Mrs. Lynn.
I had a student who had never been in school prior to entering my first grade classroom. She came in with no knowledge of letters and no knowledge of numbers, and she inspired me. She never gave up, and I never gave up on her. Throughout our time together, her and I saw how much she wanted to learn, and of course that just made me want to help her more. And then a few years later, I discovered when she was entering middle school, she was in all the advanced classes, and I'm just so proud to be a part of her journey.
My name is Cindy Tafaro, and I'm honored to serve as the principal of the James Monroe Elementary School community. Tonight, we celebrate Mrs. Kelly Padana, our Educational Service Professional of the Year. Kelly, an educator for 16 years, is our outstanding reading specialist. P is for Padana. Mrs. Padana employs phonics first strategies in her small groups and continues to pursue professional development. She leads committees and clubs, mentors students, serves on INRS, and plans many of our exciting educational events. Our Read Across America Week was magical. She puts her heart and soul into everything she does and has the warmest and kindest heart. Congratulations, Mrs. Padana.
It is with great pride that John Marshall School has chosen Mrs. Pappas as the recipient of the 2021-2022 Teacher of the Year. She is exceptionally creative with her lessons, an innovative thinker, and a passionate member of our first grade team. Mrs. Pappas is a true professional, and her passion for teaching has never wavered. Mrs. Pappas communicates with parents and guardians and encourages them to be involved in their child's education. She always has a smile on her face and fosters connections with her students. Mrs. Pappas takes great pride in ensuring that all of her students are ready and able to go to the next grade and will be successful. She co-chairs the Craft Club and attends many John Marshall School events. This is why John Marshall School has chosen Katie Pappas as their 2021-2022 Teacher of the Year.
In first grade, teaching students how to read, it is so cool getting to see kids read for the first time and sound out their first word, and they're just like, oh, I did it, I read, I'm so excited. So that was one of my favorites. I also love when old students come back and like share their memories, and it's like, wow, you're in 5th grade now, you're 4 years removed from first grade, and you still remember the dance that we did for a brain break 4 years ago. So it's just so much, it's so fun and memorable to make that impact on a student, and it's definitely worth it, very rewarding.
John Marshall School has selected Mrs. Kathy Gluhusky, a very important member of our teaching staff, as our Educational Services Professional of the Year. As an interventionist, Mrs. Glu takes great pride in engaging her students in creative and fun ways to learn strategies and skills for math, reading, and writing. She is our PTO co-president, building tech person, and happily teaches parent universities, just to name a few of the amazing reasons she is deserving of this award. Congratulations, Mrs. Glu.
It is with great pride that I introduce Mrs. Christine Lambert as Lincoln's Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Lambert is an exceptional teacher, teammate, role model, outstanding mother of 2, and overall just a great person. She goes above and beyond in all that she does. If you ask her for help, she always says yes. She allows students to engage in whole group activities and centered activities so that students stay active throughout the class period. Mrs. Lambert consistently establishes an inclusive environment for students of all ranges and capabilities to thrive. She provides accommodations and modifications and pairs students with buddies. When you enter Mrs. Lambert's classroom, every student is smiling and having fun. She runs the school-wide Kids Heart Challenge, and all proceeds go to the American Heart Association. Lincoln would not be the same without Mrs. Lambert's constant energy and commitment to her students. It is with great pleasure and my honor to congratulate Mrs. Lambert for being named Lincoln Elementary School's Teacher of the Year. Congratulations, Miss Lambert.
It was a brand new teacher. I felt like I was unorganized, never prepared. The kids were so smart. They were so good. I wanted to give them, a really great quarter of health before moving on to high school. And I just didn't feel like I connected with them. And then on the last day of health, they made this enormous card and they signed it and they told me how much they enjoyed me teaching them for the quarter. And then I was like, all right, maybe I'm doing something right. Maybe I did pick, the right career.
Lincoln is proud to announce that Mrs. Berger is our hidden hero. She makes books, reading, and learning come to life, and she does this from the hallway. She has transformed library time to whenever and wherever, and she never disappoints. Mrs. Berger works incredibly hard to pick themed read-alouds that fosters inclusivity and tolerance. She always wants our students to gain content knowledge and gain social and emotional lessons. Thank you, Mrs. Berger, for being so great to our staff, students, and families of Lincoln School. We applaud you.
It is our pleasure to recognize Lindenau's Teacher of the Year, Mr. Imran Zia. And while I know he considers himself a teacher of math and science, he is so much more. Mr. Zia knows what it really means to teach the whole child and to make sure that every student that walks into his classroom feels safe, valued, and supported. The minute you walk through Mr. Zia's door, the energy is palpable and students can't wait to share their new learning. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce Mr. Zia. He has a special way of making sure that each and every student feels valued and heard, and that is why we are proud to recognize him as this year's Teacher of the Year. Congratulations, Mr. Zia.
I have to say my favorite memory is just getting emails from parents letting me know how much they appreciate my efforts and the positive influence on their children. It's always nice to hear that whatever work you do in the classroom resonates with the students, for them to make these noticeable changes that their parents even see at home.
We are so delighted to honor Miss Olafemi Francis as Lindenau's Educational Support Professional of the Year. As our building's Learning Disabilities Teacher Consultant, Miss Francis works hard to meet the needs of each and every student in our building. Congratulations to Miss Francis on this well-deserved recognition.
We're really excited to present Menlo Park's Teacher of the Year, and that is Ashley Birmingham. She does an amazing job. She's been a teacher for 16 years. She's taught in a lot of different roles. She's been a multiple disabled teacher, an inclusion teacher, a resource room teacher, and she has the best practices for helping support and modify assignments for students. And she's also highly involved in our school community by taking on clubs, participating on committees, and she's also done professional development at the district level. She's always willing to pitch in and help and support, and we're super fortunate to have her here. Anytime she's at an event, her past students treat her like she's a celebrity. So a big shout out to Mrs. Birmingham, Menlo Park's Teacher of the Year. Congratulations.
My most memorable experiences usually are surrounded with teaching kids to read. It's just such an important thing, and it's such an important thing that you leave with a student. But seeing a student struggle and then become confident in their reading is always really, really memorable experience.
Greetings from Menlo Park. We're super excited to announce Miss Sangeeta Sridhar as our Educational Services Professional of the Year for the year 2022. Menlo Park is very fortunate to have Miss Sridhar, or more affectionately known as Miss S, around the halls here. She works diligently with the students. She provides countless hours of support and smiles to the children, and she has been such a treasure to have here at Menlo Park. We're so excited for her, and on behalf of all of the staff and students, we wish her nothing but the best and congratulate her for a very well-deserved award. Congratulations.
Hello, this is Miss Popersenos, and I am honored to introduce MLK's Teacher of the Year, Ruth Vogel. Since 2008, Ms. Vogel has touched the lives of thousands of students, either inside the classroom or as the Odyssey of the Mind mentor. Ms. Vogel's dedication and passion for her profession is inspirational. You can find Ms. Vogel long after the bell has rung, either working with her OM teams or preparing engaging lessons for her students. As the principal and proud member of this learning community, we would like to thank Ms. Vogel for all that she does and wish her the best in the future.
One of the big memories was that my Odyssey of the Mind team got 10th place at World. That was huge. But the real memories are when the kids' faces light up, when they've learned something and they own it. That's my memories.
Hi, this is Mrs. Dettelbach. I am proud to introduce Martin Luther King Elementary School's Educational Support Professional of the Year, our school counselor, Ms. Melanie Nunziata. Ms. Nunziata has been a crucial partner in supporting our students' emotional and social needs, especially after returning to in-person instruction. She continues to be an asset to our community, and we want to thank her for all that she does. Congratulations, Ms. Nunziata.
Good evening, I'm Sandra Schlatter, the proud principal of Washington Elementary School, and I'm here to recognize Mrs. Jennifer Sergio as Washington School's Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Sergio has worked in the Edison School District for 25 years. She is passionate about teaching and an advocate for her students. She will stop at nothing to do what is best for each student in her classroom. Mrs. Sergio is admired by her colleagues for her passion and enthusiasm for teaching, her extensive knowledge of the curriculum, and mostly for being a mentor and a teammate. She is a true asset to Washington School. Congratulations, Mrs. Sergio, on being Washington School's Teacher of the Year.
I had a neighbor. They had a little boy, 3 years old, was diagnosed with autism. And I immediately connected with this little boy despite his deficits, and I just fell in love with him and working with him, and I found that I could get through to him, and so that's where it all began.
I'm Truck Vu, the assistant principal at Washington Elementary School. I am proud to announce the Educational Services Professional of the Year, Mrs. Kathy Eichert. Mrs. Eichert has been with the district since 2000 and been at Washington Elementary School since 2005. She is known for her unwavering dedication to the school, community, and staff. Most recently, during hybrid learning and remote teaching, Mrs. Eichert was invaluable in her support to our students, our staff, and especially our parents and families. Mrs. Eichert, thank you for everything you do for us and our community.
Mrs. Graham is the kind of teacher who brings excitement to all she does. Her children hang on her every word, knowing she has something fun and interactive prepared for them every day. Mrs. Graham makes our school a better, more inclusive place as the advisor of the Wingman program and the co-advisor of Student Council. In addition, Mrs. Graham brings the arts to our school as a co-advisor to our school drama club. She can be counted on to mentor new teachers, and she is respected for her continued efforts to move her teaching to the next level. A well-deserved congratulations to Mrs. Graham, Woodbrook's Teacher of the Year.
One particular student, he might have struggled a little bit more than the typical student, and we were taking a district assessment. And on the district assessment, it kind of shows from the beginning of the year to the end of the year how much they have grown. This student grown, a total of 10 points. And I remember I called him over and I said, look, and I was like, look how much you've grown. And his eyes were just like, so big, so wide. And that confidence in his eyes, that's why I do what I do.
Congratulations to our school counselor, Mrs. Romero. Parents, staff, and students, if you need any advice, see Mrs. Romero. Feeling down? See Mrs. Romero. Thinking about middle school electives? See Mrs. Romero. You will find Mrs. Romero in classrooms teaching lessons about kindness, respect, integrity, responsibility, and running lunch groups to help support the students at Woodbrook. Whatever you need and whenever you need it, you can count on school counselor Mrs. Romero to help you. Congratulations to our Educational Services Professional of the Year, Mrs. Romero.
I'm proud and honored to recognize Mrs. Erin Murtaugh as Herbert Hoover Middle School's Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Murtaugh is a dedicated educator who inspires her students and colleagues each and every day. Mrs. Murtaugh is a passionate science teacher who delivers effective, fun, and inspirational lessons. If you have the opportunity to visit Mrs. Murtaugh's classroom, you will find yourself surrounded by penguins. Some stuffed, some plastic, a few hand-carved, and I suspect if the room could be kept cold enough, she would have live ones waddling around. Mrs. Murtaugh's beloved spirit animal is a perfect representation of who she is as a teacher. When penguins encounter danger or harsh conditions, they move closer together, eventually forming into a huddle where even the most vulnerable have a place. As a team leader, Mrs. Murtaugh spends countless hours working to ensure her colleagues and students are well supported. As a cross-country coach, Mrs. Murtaugh cares not if her student athletes run like deer or travel at a penguin's pace. If a child has the desire to join the huddle, they are welcome. Mrs. Murtaugh, thank you for being a teacher who is always ready and willing to find a place for a student under your wing.
My favorite memory would have to be getting emails from students that are in high school or that are in college that just want to update me on their lives, give them like positive things that happen. Oh, I just got an A in my science test, or, I just got into this college, my degree is in education. So I think that would definitely be the best memory.
It is an honor to present Miss Rebecca Nesterwitz, the Educational Services Professional of the Year Award for Herbert Hoover Middle School. Miss Becky, as she is known to the staff and students of Hoover, is a phenomenal speech and language teacher. Her care for and dedication to her students is unparalleled. we are fortunate to have Miss Becky as a member of the Hoover staff. Congratulations on a very well-deserved honor.
Congratulations to Mrs. Amy Epstein, the John Adams Middle School Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Epstein comes to school every day with a positive attitude and a smile on her face. She makes meaningful relationships with her students who just adore her. Family is important to her, not only her own family, but the family that she has been a part of at John Adams since 1999. In the classroom, she's creative, fun, and engaging. Her students will do anything to impress her, and she goes above and beyond to meet their diverse learning needs. Outside of the classroom, she's always willing to lend a helping hand, and she's the co-facilitator of our PBSIS committee. Fun fact about Mrs. Epstein, she not only loves being an Edison teacher, but she's a product of Edison schools, having attended James Monroe, Herbert Hoover, and Edison High School. Now that's amazing. Congratulations, Mrs. Epstein. Thank you for all you do.
My favorite memory was one day when I was out with my family and I bumped into a former student that I hadn't seen in over 10 years, and she grabbed me by the hand and dragged me through her place of employment. She introduced me to everyone she worked with. She said, "This is my favorite teacher. This is who inspired me." And she was just so excited to brag about me, and giving someone that kind of inspiration is really priceless.
Hi, I'm proud to recognize Ms. Jasmine Cromartie as the Educational Service Professional of the Year. Ms. Cromartie is empathetic, flexible, and can be counted on in an emergency. She possesses the appropriate temperament and clinical knowledge to support the students and staff at John Adams. She is amazing, and that is why Ms. Jasmine Cromartie is the Educational Service Professional of the Year for John Adams Middle School.
My name is Mrs. Emden, and I'm truly honored to recognize Mrs. Laso, Thomas Jefferson Middle School's 2021-2022 Teacher of the Year. When I asked Mrs. Laso's students what makes her a special teacher, these are the words and or phrases they shared. Patient, kind, understanding, creative, fun. She allows us to express ourselves. She's a great listener. Ms. Laso goes above and beyond to create a safe space for every student in her classroom, a space where students feel accepted and are encouraged to embrace a growth mindset. She's also an active member of our school community, serving as a 6th grade team leader, a learning leader, ACES teacher, as well as participating on numerous committees. Congratulations, Mrs. Laso. You are truly deserving of this recognition. Thomas Jefferson Middle School's 2021-2022 Teacher of the Year.
There's been a lot, but I think having students come back as like full grown-ups with careers of their own. There's one instance that comes to mind where a student told me that because of me, he decided to become a teacher, and he's now going to my alma mater. So it was just like super awesome to know that I made that kind of inspiration in someone's life.
Hello, I'm Ken Sajasi, one of the assistant principals at Thomas Jefferson Middle School. This year, we are excited to have Mrs. Kim McCoy selected as the Educational Service Professional of the Year. Mrs. McCoy has been a member of the Edison Schools since 2009 and now serves the TJ community as the head counselor. She consistently makes strong connections with her students and their families to provide the academic and emotional support. The entire TJ community is proud and happy to recognize Mrs. McCoy and thanks her for her hard work and dedication.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Blevins, and I am the principal of Woodrow Wilson Middle School. It is my honor and privilege to introduce the Woodrow Wilson Teacher of the Year, Christine Fortino. Christine is an amazing math teacher. She is always patient, kind, and willing to help others. She has a positive impact on everyone that she meets. Christine carefully plans every detail of each lesson. She makes sure to tailor her instruction to meet the needs of each of her students in her classroom. She is a master of differentiation and makes sure to embed social-emotional learning concepts throughout her units. Lastly, Christine makes her students feel valued, respected, and loved, and that will have a greater impact on them than she may ever know. Beyond the classroom, Mrs. Fortino finds ways to support all staff at WWMS. She is always willing to offer a helping hand, collaborate, and support novice teachers. She is a WWMS Learning Leader and has served over the years on multiple leadership teams. She is an inspiration to her colleagues and a model for our vision and values at WWMS. Congratulations to Mrs. Christine Fortino, Woodrow Wilson Middle School Teacher of the Year.
I think it was my second year teaching. I started off teaching math lab. So I had these small groups, and there was this little boy that had MS, and he was in a wheelchair, and he only spoke Spanish and had like really no educational background whatsoever. And I got to meet with him to try to teach him math, and a lot of it was, teaching him just what numbers were, how to say the numbers, adding, subtracting, and he was just such a sweet boy, and to literally have that one-on-one was just such a great experience.
Hello everyone, my name is Renu Mendirtha, proud assistant principal at Woodrow Wilson Middle School. It is my privilege and honor to introduce Ms. Joanne Murphy, our guidance counselor for the prestigious Educational Support Professional Award. She is kind, patient, and positive person who goes above and beyond to support the staff, families, and most importantly, our students. She's the glue that holds us together. Ms. Murphy, thank you for all you do. We are fortunate to have you as part of our Woodrow family. Congratulations.
Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Ferrara and I'm one of the assistant principals here at Edison High School. Today it gives me great pleasure to announce our 2021-2022 Teacher of the Year, Mr. Michael Piccolo. Mr. Piccolo is a fantastic teacher. He's a consummate professional, always working hard to do the best for his students and best for his classes. He's always involved in after-school activities, our club advisor for many different clubs, and he's always there willing to help our students whenever they need it. Once again, congratulations to Mr. Piccolo. You're what's great about EHS.
I started here, this is my sixth year here. I was in corporate for 30 years, and I decided it was time to maybe give back to the students here, because I would see employees coming into my office totally not prepared for what they needed. So I felt that I could give them the tools that they would be to get an edge up on other employees coming in.
Hi, Mr. Ross from Edison High. I'm here to talk about what's great about Edison High, Mr. Thomas Alexander, our Educational Service Professional of the Year. Now, first off, he's a Yankee fan, and just like Don Mattingly came back in and turned things on from the moment he got to the pinstripes, Mr. Alexander has done the same. Number one, he's our AP coordinator, and he's seen over 50% growth in APs under him. But he also does grief groups. He works with HBCUs. But most importantly, when the kids come down to talk to them, he's there, he's present in the moment, and he's able to help them get through all those difficulties. And during the pandemic, that's been key for everybody. Thank you so much, Mr. Alexander. Go Yankees.
I'm Dr. Anthony Shallop, proud principal of J.P. Stevens High School. I'm honored to share that our Teacher of the Year for JP is Mr. Jordan Baer of the Math Department. He is a wonderful individual, a caring and committed educator who truly supports students and motivates them to be the best versions of themselves that they can be. He puts the time in and makes himself available to address the academic, social, and emotional needs of his students. He goes above and beyond his classroom responsibilities to ensure that every student that crosses his path has the best high school experience possible. He's involved in multiple committees, advises multiple clubs, and has been the longtime advisor for the Student Council. In short, everything he does is with the goal of making JP the best place it could be. He's an important thread in the fabric that makes JP the wonderful community that it is. Congratulations, Mr. Baer, on earning this well-deserved recognition.
I have lived in and was born in Edison, so I went through the Edison public school system, and having those teachers before me to inspire and believe in myself made me think I want to give back to those that did for me, and I'm doing what I'm doing and loving every second of it.
Hi, I'm Rob Robinson, proud assistant principal at John P. Stevens High School, and it is my distinguished pleasure to welcome Ms. Janine Silverberg as the John P. Stevens Educational Support Professional of the Year. As a college counselor working in our counseling department, Mrs. Silverberg helps students and families navigate the college application process and informs them of academic programs available therein. Often, families will reach out directly to her supervisor just to commend her for the amount of time she spent working with their children. She's become a valued member of our staff here at John P. Stevens High School, and our colleagues note her patience when working with students and her passion to work with families to see their children succeed beyond our doors. I understand that Ms. Silverberg often works behind the scenes in our counseling department, but today I'm happy to welcome her out into the spotlight.
It is my pleasure to announce Ms. Chrissy Palermo as the Teacher of the Year at the preschool level. She works collaboratively with everyone to help her students master skills, cope with social emotional issues, and build relationships. Ms. Chrissy has a genuine love for the children and a joy for teaching. Congratulations, Ms. Chrissy. We love you.
As a special education teacher, my most memorable memory is having several students enter my class who were nonverbal and upon entering kindergarten reached their goals and milestones and were declassified from special education.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to announce the ESP of the Year at the preschool level, Miss Allegra Greeley. The following words describe Miss Allegra: empathetic, collaborative communicator, resourceful, dedication, and professionalism. Congrats, Miss Allegra. We love you.
Wow, amazing. Ms. Mahabir, does your microphone work? Not yet?
Yes? Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. President Schneider and Board of Education, Dr. Bragan, community, staff, and teachers, we are here today to celebrate the little pieces of our heart that make our school district amazing. We haven't been able to do this in 3 years, so this is an absolute thrill for us to be able to be in person with everybody and see everybody's lovely faces and their support systems as well. You are also as important as our teachers because you hear all the little stories that everybody comes home to you with. Having said that, we are going to call up each Teacher of the Year and Educational Service Professional of the Year to come up and meet your principal and receive a certificate and be recognized. Congratulations. I'm going to ask Mr. Stephen Pupil to stand up, and if Ms. Jennifer Hijek and Lisa Wales can come up and receive their certificates, please. Family members, we know you want to take photos, so if you're welcome to come up and take a photo. I'd like to call up Mr. Brian Murfield, who is here in place of Ms. Abakmako, who is unable to be here this evening. And if Ms. Amanda Bloler could come up and receive her certificate. Ms. Negron was unable to attend today. I'd like to call up Mr. Michael Seiler, principal of James Madison Primary School, and Senor Ballon and Jessica Sanchez. If Mrs. Tafaro and Ms. Callahan can please stand up from James Monroe. I'd like to call down Stephanie Lynn and Kelly Padana. Miss Amy Hoffman and Miss Joanne Delina, if you could please stand up and present your certificates to Catherine Pappas and Kathleen, I call it Glue, Kathleen Glukowski. Mr. Scully and Ms. DeFazio, if you could stand to give your certificates to Christine Lambert and Ms. Berger. And I'd like to call up Ms. Fisher to hand a certificate to Olufemi Francis. Imran Zia could not be here this evening. Mr. Duggan and Mr. Plattvote, if you please stand to hand Ashley Birmingham and Sangeeta Sridhar their certificates, please. Ms. Papacernos, if you would please stand to give Ruth Vogel and Melanie Nunziata their certificates, please. Ms. Schlatter, if you could please stand to give Jennifer Sergio and Kathy Eichert their well-deserved certificates. Mrs. Cirillo, if you could please come up to give Ms. Graham and Ms. Romero their certificates. Mr. McGrath, if you could please stand, and I'd like to call down Erin Murtaugh and Rebecca Nesterwitz. Dr. Valentine, if you would please stand. Amy Epstein and Ms. Cromartie, if you could please come down to receive your certificates. Ms. Emden, if you would join us at the front. And we'd like to call down Samantha Laso and Kimberly McCoy, please. Ms. Blevins and Ms. Renu Mendarata. If Christine Fortino and Joanne Murphy could come down to receive their certificates. Mr. Ross, you are up. I'd like to call up Michael Piccolo and Thomas Alexander, please. Mr. Shallop, Dr. Shallop, excuse me, if you'd please stand up, we can call Jordan Baer and Janine Silberberg to the front. Dr. Tui, if you'd like to stand up, please. And we'd like to call Hersanthi Palomo and Allegra Greeley to the front, please. And that concludes our ceremony, but not our gratefulness. We thank you for all the work that you do all day, every day in our district. Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. I think I could speak on behalf of the board. It's an honor to sit here in this room with so many amazing educational leaders and obviously our award recipients tonight. I'm sure that we could fill this room many times over with people worthy of awards in Edison, so thank you. We are going to move to a privilege session now. We will not take attendance when we come back. Not to worry. We will, however, read a resolution and go to privilege session, please.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Township of Edison, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, as follows. The public shall be excluded from discussion of and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters of which the general nature to be discussed is as follows. Attorney-client privilege discussion regarding RFP, broker of record, employee health benefits, RFQ, insurance risk management services, ETEA grievances, PERC, unfair labor practices, student matters, litigation brought by former employees and students, personnel matters, and shared services agreement. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Thank you, Ms. Gluck. Do we have a motion to adjourn to privilege session? Motion, Mr. Biro Patel.
Second.
Second, Ms. Madiger. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Adjourn. Thank you. We'll be coming back out.
Everyone.
Can I have a motion to reconvene to open session?
Motion. Motion.
Mr. Patel, Mr. Biro Patel, motion. Mr. Mohin Patel, second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any nays? Thank you. Public comments on resolutions. Yes, Ms. Campione.
Sue Campione, H. for Court. Just a quick question on one of the resolutions. It says something about an amendment to summer school and to see the attached, but nothing was attached. I was just wondering what was amended.
Okay, we can answer that.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. Dr. Bragan?
I have to pull up what we're talking about. Approval of the summer school schedule revised. Is that what you're talking about, Ms. Campione? That's not on there? I have it on mine. It's kind of extensive. I'll make sure we get it on the website.
If my recollection is correct, Dr. Bragan, did you adjust the schedule to accommodate Juneteenth as a holiday? I believe that we moved.
For the start date.
The start date was adjusted. I don't know if that's what it relates to, yes.
Board President?
So there was just two or three programs, if I remember, that were starting on the national federal holiday, so we just moved those dates, and that's where it changed. It's a federal holiday. right?
There's a bunch of collective bargaining agreements that are affected by that, so I don't want to say the district's going to be closed, but I'll get you an update on that.
Thank you.
And we'll put this on the website. My apologies.
Mr. Mohan Patel, did you want to say something?
No, I think Gail had her hands up in the back, raising for something.
We got the thumbs up. Any,
Good.
Thank you. Any other public comments on the resolutions only? Okay, thank you.
Well, President?
Yes, Mr. Shi.
Are we going to introduce any new resolutions? If we are, the people might want to give them time to comment. The resolution is not on the agenda yet.
Are there any resolutions that are not in the public's hands?
Yes, the three new ones that we discussed are not in public hands.
Okay.
So I would have to read them.
Yeah, I don't know what the procedure. Do we read them now so we allow public comments on all the resolutions?
It's a good point of order. So, Ms. Blackburn?
You can.
Okay, sure.
It's only on resolutions now.
Ms. Cluck? Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Can you hear me? Is that better?
Yeah, just speak closer to the mic, and then if you don't mind, just read the resolutions that were added.
The following resolutions were added. The first one is appointment of broker of record for employee health benefits. Be it resolved that the Edison Township Board of Education approves the appointment of Brown & Brown of Shrewsbury, New Jersey as the broker of record for employee health benefits for the Edison Township Board of Education for the 2022-2023 school year at a commission cap of $195,000 for medical, prescription, dental, and stop loss pursuant to N.J.S.A.18A 18A-5A10. The second resolution added is appointment of insurance risk management services. Be it resolved that the Edison Township Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools and Business Administrator, as negotiated by Balkin & Balkin Insurance of Flemington, New Jersey, as the broker of record for property and casualty, errors and omissions, liability, automobile, workers' compensation, and other insurance coverages, such as volunteer and bonding coverage for the 2022-2023 school year at the standard commission rates set by the New Jersey School Insurance Group, NJSIG, as pursuant to NJSA 18A 18A-5A10. The third resolution that was added is the shared services agreement with Township of Edison cricket pitches. Be it resolved that the Edison Township Board of Education hereby approves a shared services agreement with the Township of Edison for the operation and scheduling of cricket pitches located at the Edison Township Public Schools, subject to final approval of the shared services agreement by the Superintendent of Schools.
Thank you. Any public comments on resolutions only? Okay. Very good.
Elizabeth raised her hand.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Conway. For those at home, I know you could probably just yell, but let's get you to the microphone.
The Brown & Brown for the broker of record for health insurance for 22-23, not to exceed how much?
$195,000.
And Balkin & Balkin for risk management?
That's a standard rate that's covered, a standard commission rate set by New Jersey SIG.
Which is?
15% except for workers' comp, which is 6%.
And the shared services agreement regarding cricket, what was that? I mean, this has been going back and forth between here and the town. What was the final decision on the charge that was going to be given to the adult league? Was it $500
There wasn't
per
a
year?
final decision. My understanding is the town council last night approved the resolution to have a shared services agreement. We're just agreeing to also have a shared service agreement. We haven't worked out the particulars though yet.
Oh, so it's not really?
We don't have the dollars and cents of the money or anything yet. This is just an agreement.
I thought I had heard it was the 500, but.
We did not agree to that.
So you're just going into a shared service with no, so how are they starting their season, or they have not yet?
That I don't know. We haven't issued any permits on our end, so we're working on that now. We don't have the exact parameters. So we just agreed to, the resolution is an agreement to have an agreement to enter into a shared services contract.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Conway. Do I have a motion to approve the personnel resolution?
Motion.
Mr. Biro Patel, motion. Second?
Second.
Ms. Madiger, second. Roll call, please, Ms. Cluck.
Dr. Haydock?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Burrell Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Mohan Patel?
Yes.
Mrs. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Peng?
Yes.
Mr. Shi?
Yes.
Mrs. Madiker?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes.
All yes, motion is carried.
Thank you. Next, can I have a motion to approve the administration, curriculum, and instruction, and pupil special services resolutions?
Motion.
Ms. Madiger, motion. Second?
Second.
Mr. Shi, second. Roll call, please.
Dr. Haydock?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Burrell Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Mohan Patel?
So this is on exactly again, which one? The administration and?
Administration, curriculum, and instructional.
Yes.
Yes.
And Mrs. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Peng?
Yes.
Mr. Shi?
Yes.
Mrs. Madiker?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes.
All yes, motion is carried.
Thank you. A motion to approve the finance resolutions.
Plus the three things.
Plus the three new ones I just read.
Correct.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Biro Patel, motion. Ms. Madiger, second. Roll call, please.
Dr. Haydock?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Burrell Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Mohan Patel?
No on the two items, one for the cricket pitch and the other one for the health insurance.
Okay.
Roker.
Mrs. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Peng?
No on the cricket fields, and no on the broker, and yes on everything else.
Okay. Mr. Shi?
No on health broker, no on the agreement between the school board and township on the cricket, yes on everything else.
Mrs. Madiker?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes on the finance. I'm abstaining from the broker of record with health. I'm abstaining from the broker of record with risk. And yes on the cricket pitch.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next, we have, right here, we have the motion to approve RFPs. We've done that, right?
Yes, we have.
Yes. So next, we're going to move to the committee reports. So we have our Budget and Planning Oversight Committee. Mr. Biro Patel.
Thank you, President. So we had a Budget Planning and Oversight Committee meeting on April 27th. Members in attendance were Biral Patel, Brian Rivera, Doug Schneider, and Shivi Prasad Madhugar. Administrators were Dr. Bragan, hand clerk, Dr. Darelli, and Bill Kolibas. The businesses discussed were review list of necessities that were provided from the school principals and supervisors, the band and the music program funding, robotics and AI program funding, My School Bucks charges and balance issue, annual capital items budget presentation, and finalization of the budget before the presentation. So the committee reviewed a list of necessities from the school principals and supervisors, and per Dr. Bragan's recommendation was all felt good and all approved. The band and the music program was all reviewed, including the AI and the robotics funding program and other annual capital items. There is a detailed description of the report available on the website in the meeting agenda, so anyone can go and take a look at it. I will leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patel. Next, we have our Township Liaison Committee. Ms. White.
Thank you. Okay, the Township Board of Ed Liaison Committee was held on Tuesday, May 10th, 2022, beginning at 11:01 a.m. and ending at 11:40 at the Education Center. In attendance in person were Council VP Joyce Chip Freeman, Councilwoman Margot Harris, Councilman Rich Brescher, BOE VP Shivi Prasad Madhukar, Superintendent Bernard Bragan, Human Resources Director Edward Adarelli, Deputy Fire Chief, Office of Emergency Management Coordinator Andy Toth, and Virginia White, Committee Chair. In attendance via Zoom were Ray Alcantara, Chief of Staff to Mayor Joshi, Pat Coyle, Township Constituent Relations, Robert Deal, Chief of Staff to Mayor Joshi, Master Plan Coordinator, and Deputy Chief of Police Robert Dudash. Pat Coyle began our meeting and he reported on pavings plans that have been submitted for township streets, so that is all a work in progress. Deputy Chief Dudash provided an update on the Junior Police Academy. They're still advertising for their middle and high school program. Sergeant Ship will reach out to Dr. Bragan to help recruit more students. They will also visit school lunches to solicit more student interest in the programs. DARE programs are not currently in schools, but the police department will be completing drug education programs, including vaping and opioid abuse. A discussion ensued about the traffic on New Dover Road and Inman Avenue during arrival and dismissal times at John Adams and Martin Luther King. Chief Dudash mentioned some complaints on New Dover Road and Tingley Lane pertaining to parking and speeding violations. The police are actively working on these issues. This discussion resulted from public comments at our last Board of Ed meeting, where a resident raised concerns about the possibility of hazardous traffic conditions at arrival and dismissal times for John Adams and Martin Luther King schools. Ms. Harris asked the question about lighted crosswalks for Woodrow Wilson Middle School, and Chief Dudash said he would look into it. Ray Alcantara shared an update on the library board. They're working on several initiatives with our schools. He also mentioned that some students were causing a disruption at the library, and these concerns were addressed by the library staff. Mrs. Madiker asked about the timeline for the expansion of the library on Grove Avenue. Ray reported that shovels will hopefully be in the ground shortly. I asked about the ABC program and if they planned on expanding it to accommodate the increased kindergarten enrollment. Mrs. Madiker asked about the status of wait lists. Ray reported that currently they have over 700 children and 11 children are on the wait list. Next year, 775 students are currently registered. They expect 1,000 to 1,100 students to enroll. This is approximately 200 shy of pre-pandemic numbers. Deputy Chief told a story about a student that he had helped from J.P. Stevens. This is Andy Toth, and became a fireman in town. This led to updates from Andy and Joyce regarding the progress of the Edison Township Careers video. We have scheduled a tentative filming date for May 24th. Dr. Bragan and Deputy Chief Toth will coordinate these efforts. Ms. Harris asked about the female firefighters. Deputy Chief Toth explained the process. Currently, 3 women are on active volunteer lists, with the possibility of 2 being hired as full-time fire personnel. Joyce Ship Freeman informed the group that transportation is available for senior citizens who, if needed, to attend the Memorial Day Parade. Please contact Jay Elliott to make arrangements. The Edison Art Society will be dedicating their gazebo on May 18th at 5:30 p.m. They will also be awarding their scholarships at that time. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 14th at 11 a.m. Respectfully submitted, Virginia White, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. White. Very thorough.
Board President?
Yes, Mr. Shi.
Just, going through the minutes remind me a couple questions. In the past, we've been working with the Township Library to supply some summer reading books to them. Are we still on track to provide some books and let them buy ahead of time so the kids can, get their hands on? I didn't know.
If I didn't know any better, Mr. Shea, I'd say that question was a plant. I actually met with the library director today and some members of the library board. And I know we didn't talk about that, but that was one of the conversations we had to make sure the the summer reading books are accessible through the library, so we're going to get that information to them. It's on my to-do list. We literally met 1 o'clock this afternoon.
Oh, thank you. The other is the ABC program, and last year we looked into another provider for that program. Moving forward, is this year, are we going to use that second provider, or are we going to continue to stick with the township?
The provider's called Right at School, and they're actually doing some camps in the near future for some of the schools. We are still going to, my recommendation will be when we do the approvals next month in June, that they will be on that list to have additional programs, because even at the meeting when we got the feedback from from Ray, I forget his last name, Alcantara, that right now there's some overflow and there's some people still on the waiting list. So our ideal would be that if we have more than one provider to cover all the needs, that there will be no waiting list.
Fantastic. I like to hear that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good questions. Our upcoming meetings. We have a caucus meeting right here in the J.P. Stevens High School auditorium. That's at 7 o'clock on June 9th. Followed by a public action meeting. That would be Tuesday, June 14th. And that's again here at John P. Stevens High School at 7 p.m. Board member open discussion. Ms. White, I'll start down there with you if you have anything to add.
Okay, they're all not here, but congratulations to all of our honorees. They were just so incredible. And also to their administrators. You know, together they're a phenomenal team.
I agree. Thank you, Ms. White. Mr. Shi.
I just want to echo what Mrs. White just said. You know, congratulations to all the honorees. And the good thing is to see their family here, to see the kids over here. That's, you know, this is support not only, you know, these staff that worked hard, and also the family. I just have one suggestion for the board to consider. We've been doing this so many years for the school staff. We also have some, Dr. Reagan, we also have some good staff who works in the education center. I don't know what the board you know, thinking is maybe we can also include one person from the education center on the staff that can, you know, we can recognize them. So I hope that the board can consider next year we add one more. Thank you.
It's a great idea, Mr. Shi. Right. Mr. Rivera.
Yeah, I have a couple of things to say. The first thing I do want to say is I want to recognize the teachers and the educational service professionals that were acknowledged tonight. The first thing that I thought of was it takes a village to raise our kids. And watching some of the individuals that received these awards, and I was very proud to say that I'm excited that they're part of our village. You know, I know what they do every day, and I appreciate all the work and all the hard work that they do to service our children. And I want to say on behalf of the board that we're very grateful to have you all. So I do want to recognize them and say thank you. The other thing I do want to do is recognize yesterday was National Nurses Day, so I want to thank all of our nurses for the hard work they do to support our children. And then also one of the resolutions here is we talk about the Special Education Week. So I do want to recognize all the achievements our children are doing in the Edison Public Schools and all the instruction they're getting. And I want to thank the hard work of our teachers, their parents, our school personnel that are here to support our children with special needs. Again, thank you. And then finally, this week is Sla Testing. I'm hoping our students are working hard. I know our staff is working hard with them, so I just want to wish them the best of luck with testing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Ms. Madiger.
So I also want to extend congratulations to all educators who are here this evening, and especially the ones who got the awards. So just congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Madiger. Mr. Biro Patel.
Okay, so a huge kudos, congratulations to all the wonderful educators who got Teacher and Educational Services Professional Recognition today. So they all did wonderful, and big congratulations to them. But you know, every single educator and every single service professional does a great job every day in our district. So congratulations to all of them. Thank you for all the service that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Ms. Peng.
Just want to echo everybody else said. Big congratulations to all the educators of the year tonight. As a parent of 2 children, I just want to say, I'm really grateful that we have such a good staff and teachers. Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you, Ms. Peng. Mr. Mohan Patel.
Just like everyone else, I want to congratulate all the honorees tonight, as well as all the teachers that are doing a tremendous job with our students. And just like we said, we want to acknowledge someone here. We want to acknowledge Patrick right here because he does an amazing job with the videos and editing and lots more. He deserves a kudos from us too. Thank you.
Thank you, I agree. Dr. Hijek.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well done, Mr. Patel. I agree. He's helped me so far know where the cameras are. So certainly I have to commend him for a job well done. As I said last meeting, it takes a long time to get to the end of this table. And I echo sincerely what Ms. Whitehead said at the beginning and Mr. Rivera. Special Education Week is a very important week in all of education. It takes a true educator to work with children with disabilities. I commend those staff members, those individuals that have disabilities for the work ethic they possess each day. So thank you to all those educators in Edison. We had some wonderful presentations from our administrators. It felt like we were all in the classrooms of these wonderful teachers, and I commend them for first hiring these individuals to work with our kids, because we need the best in this town. So it starts from our administration hiring them, and then for each one of those individuals to do what they do every single day through a pandemic, online, now in the classrooms, and to continue to have that love and passion for kids is very special. So congratulations to all those teachers of the year. And behind those teachers of the year are many, many other staff members that aren't recognized tonight. I want to also recognize them for all the time and commitment they put in for our kids and our families. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hijek. Mr. Patel.
May I just add one more great thank you to Dr. Bragan as well for hiring such great staff too. And I just want to thank the board members, Mr. Shi and yourself, because you've gone through a lot right now and you're still here doing the service for the students and the faculty. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. I think the board had very nice things to say. I don't have much to add, so thank you to everyone. I'll open it up to public comment.
Board President?
Yes, Mr. Shi.
Make sure next time you start with on the other side.
I will. I will.
So he cannot say
I heard that. I heard that when Dr. Hijek said it takes a long time, I made that note. Remind me if I forget.
All right.
Ms. Spadovsky.
Carol Badowski, 39 Jonathan Drive. And you had me at Special Education Week. A number of you mentioned it. And when I realized that this was Special Education Week, it's a celebration that's very special to me for many reasons. First, for our children who may learn differently than other children and may need to follow a different route than their friends in order to reach the same goals. Second, for our highly trained and dedicated staff members whose goals and skills are honed and focused to enable them to best lead and support the children assigned to them. And third, for our community, for all of us here at home or out there totally oblivious to tonight's meeting and possibly unaware that it even is Special Education Week. All of us who reap the benefits of having these students in our schools and our community. As a reading specialist here in Edison, I worked closely with students on the cusp between regular and special education for many years. I have had the opportunity to celebrate the achievements that they have accomplished against all odds. Many of them are now out there, productive members of society, having learned marketable skills through special education. This week, we celebrate our children and their achievements. All our children working to becoming the best they can be, productive members of adult society, just like all of us. Thank you.
Well said, Ms. Badowski. Thank you. Ms. Conway.
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. I just have a few things. The first one is tonight was truly special. We acknowledge many teachers and personnel that are outstanding. But as someone very intelligent said, it takes a village to teach our children. Well, there's a population within our district that is very important to be a part of the village that helps our children. And we did celebrate the ESPs, which was written as the Educational Services Professionals. Well, when I think of ESP, I think of the educational support personnel that are beyond spectacular in our district. Whether it's a secretary, a paraprofessional, a security guard, a custodian. Patrick, who deserves another great raise that I come after every year. Patrick, you deserve it to put up with all of us. So what I'm asking for, because I know I did hear that this is the way the state does it, that it's the teachers and then the educational services professionals. Well, that doesn't truly allow for all the others, and I know someone came up with, well, what about the fantastic people that work at the education center? They're part of our village. They're part of what's making our students prosper, because every one of them has an important job. So I'm asking, and I will remind you next year, could we possibly have a third column of wonderful people? Because those people are integral. If you talk to children and they talk about who is the most important person in the school, they might talk about Miss Vivian in the office, and they may talk about Mr. Bill, who comes and takes care of things when they need extra help. So I think we should give them as much of our appreciation as our wonderful teaching staff. So please put that in your phone for next year, Dr. Bragan.
Already on it.
Very good. Number two, I did hear, and I was kind of disappointed, and I'm sure I'm in the minority. I heard that we're bringing project high school graduation back to Rutgers. If that's true, I have a question, and I'll ask, and you can answer me later. I thought Rutgers had a policy about vaccinations. So if we're bringing all these people into the RAC, because I haven't seen the policy change from what I saw online. So if the policy has changed, graduation isn't until June 17th, could the policy go back? It's rather iffy right now, because I know this afternoon the numbers had really gone up, and I'm afraid that will that affect us being at Rutgers for graduation if they go back to requiring vaccinations or proof of vaccinations in order to allow everyone to go back into Rutgers? And personally, I'm going to add my 2 cents. I really enjoyed the graduations at the high schools. I thought it was more personal. I'm sure everyone else wasn't as thrilled, but I went to quite a few of them. One year I went to 6 of them. And I thought, wow, It was just so closer. So though for those two reasons, we need to think about that, especially the vaccination item. Number 3, the Committee of the Whole. I didn't hear when that meeting is scheduled, and I thought it was going to be coming up next week or the week after. Has that date been planned?
May 23rd, Monday.
Oh, sure. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'll be there anyway.
Happy birthday. We'll bring you a cake.
Okay, and number 4, I can't go, I'd be remiss if I didn't say anything about Special Education Week. I know it's a little iffy that we need to specifically talk about Special Education Week. We don't celebrate General Education Week. We talk about Teacher Appreciation Week, but to highlight special education can be iffy. But at the same time, we need to stress that our children that are learning as much as the gen ed kids. They're only learning in a special way, and that's where the word special education comes from, that the children are learning just as much, just in a special way, and it's being done by our fantastic special education department run by Dr. Tui. I really like him, by the way, so, and I leave him there. But anyway, I really need to impress that when you talk about special education, it's special because the children are learning just as much, just in a special way. How's that for timing? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Conway. Dr. Bragan, would you like to answer any of those questions?
Yeah, we are moving the graduation back to the RAC, and we will have to agree to the parameters they set forth, but I don't think it's as stringent as you mentioned, but we will look into all that. You know, it's their facility, so they have to follow the NCAA policies. And we're working on it now. I don't have the exact definitive answer whether that requires people to have vaccination cards or not, but we'll get that information.
Thank you. Motion to end public comments?
Motion.
Mr. Biro Patel, motion. Second?
Second.
Mr. Shi, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Okay. We are going to adjourn to a privilege session, which we'll read the resolution now, and that privilege session will be where we adjourn for the night. So, Ms. Gluck, can you please read the resolution to adjourn to a privilege session?
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Township of Edison, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey as follows. The public shall be excluded from discussion of and action upon the hereinafter specified subject matters of which the general nature to be discussed is as follows. Attorney-client privilege discussion regarding ETEA grievances. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn to privilege session.
Motion.
Mr. Biro Patel, motion. Second, Dr. Haydock.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Thank you.